I'm gonna miss this place. It seems like we've only just arrived, but the road is calling, and today is the day. Each passing kilometer puts the countryside further and further behind us, but at least for the time being, we're trading the rice paddies for the concrete jungle. Our first stop is Faidong, a sort of suburb of Hefei, the city that we're going to be flying out of tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure how it happens, but the last thing that you can count on before a big flight or a big journey is a good night's rest. That's not to say that the night is going to be bad, just that rest is the last thing that you should expect. We've met up with family that live in the area for a quick visit before taking to the skies. It was meant to be a quick visit. I mean, we have a perfectly good hotel room waiting for us. But catching up with family is good enough reason to stay out and enjoy some fun times. Fun times build an appetite. So bring on the good food and let's make some good memories before we go.
That's a lot of beer.
As should be expected, rest time has been swallowed up by dinner. But the good memories will be sure to bring us back again when time permits. For now, let's get what rest we can. Tomorrow's gonna start early. It seems like we've only just gone to bed, and I'm sorry to be leaving, but it's goodbye again. This city was my home for a while. I've seen it change and grow over the years. It isn't really known in the West, but it's big. 9.5 million people big. Someday, I don't know when, I'll be back again to show it off. But for now, it's goodbye again. I've flown out of this airport countless times, but never to Chengdu. I'm not even sure what to expect upon arriving. I know they have spicy food and pandas, but that's about it. In either case, there's a dreaded plane flight between me and Chengdu. Why dreaded, you ask? Well, for someone who loves to travel, I really hate to fly. It's not so much that I'm afraid of flying, it's just how flying makes me feel. Chengdu has pandas and bamboo. It must be a humid place. Maybe it'll help. At an hour and a half, this is a short flight. You know the ones. They get up to cruising altitude just in time to start the descent. I wish the duration of the flight had some impact on the dryness of the air on the plane, or how it would make me feel at the end, but no. That's enough time hanging in the sky. Let's get off this bus of the air and collect our bags. A new adventure is upon us in Chengdu. Hefei, the city we just flew out of, is big, as I mentioned before, at 9.5 million people. But Chengdu takes it to a whole new level with just shy of 21 million people. Oh, I was right about the humidity. To say it's humid here is an understatement. You might as well be underwater. I don't know what the pandas do with all that fur. I guess it's good they don't sweat, but we do. And it's gonna feel great getting into an air-conditioned hotel room to escape the steam bath outside. I've heard German people have a saying about city air making you free, but with the thickness of what's outside, it's no wonder it takes a year and a day. Well, we're in Chengdu, and it's time to get some much-needed rest. Tomorrow, the real adventure starts. What's that saying about early to bed, early to rise? I'm not sure what old Ben Franklin meant by that, but we're up early and on the metro heading toward the zoo. Again, with this heat though, we're making a stop to get some cold drinks before heading in to see the animals. Again, on the subject of how hot it is here, I was ready to feel sorry for the animals here in the zoo, but it turns out many of them live in air-conditioned enclosures. All of them that don't like the heat, that is. I get the feeling they're looking out from behind their air-conditioned enclosures at all of us, wondering why we're so crazy to be going around in all of this. Coming to the zoo was more for the kids, and you'd think that with all these amazing animals, they would be fixated on the lions or tigers or something like that. But no, it was the koi pond that got them in the end. Are there too many shopping malls in the world? I guess I'm a long way from hanging with my friends at the mall. I mean, I haven't willingly gone to the mall since they lost GameStop back home. Either way, we're going to the mall. Not for shopping, we're going there to see a panda. I know we just saw a panda at the zoo, and later on we're going to go see the Panda Research Center. But this isn't a live panda. It's a panda on the top of the building that you take selfies with. And this is a big mall with lots of escalators. I guess that way we get to be dazzled by all the amazing shops as we make our way up to the panda. I wonder how much of a draw the panda actually is for this place. They seem to have plenty else to bring people into the mall. And we've made it to the panda. It's great for selfies, I guess. I'm not really into the whole selfie scene. Maybe it's my face. I don't know. If you didn't know this already, Sichuan province is famous for its spicy food. Well, Chengdu is the capital of Sichuan province, so we're sitting down for the customary burn your tongue out and fear for what tomorrow brings meal. I think this is how they deal with the weather here. If you fill your mouth with blistering food, you forget that you're melting in the humidity outside. I mean, it's not exactly like shoveling a campfire into your mouth. There are some delicious and unique flavors, like these Sichuan peppercorns, that actually numb your mouth. Customary meal out of the way, it's getting late. But everyone knows the city comes to life at night, and Chengdu is no different. At night, the city lights shine like neon gems. Of course, these days it's not neon. Do they even use neon in Vegas anymore? I guess it's a dying art. Either way, let's join the throng and take in the lights and the wonderful smells of the city at night here in Chengdu. It's been a full day here in Chengdu, and it's getting late. We'd better make the trek back to our hotel room before the Sandman takes us where we stand. It's the start of the second full day here in Chengdu, and we're making our way to Jinli Street. I'm beginning to become acclimated to the incredible heat in this city. Like the locals, I've made peace with it. It's just how it is here. But it's still nice to get in some air conditioning every now and again. And fortunately, we get to take advantage of some as we pack into the metro on our way to Jinli Street. We have tourist attractions back home, but apparently this place has been a tourist attraction longer than some of our countries have existed. As is often the case here in China, we're welcomed to this attraction by a gate. I don't know that it's the same gate the ancient poets would have seen when they were doing their sightseeing, but let's imagine to ourselves that they saw something like that. Along the street is Wuho Temple. Word has it the place has a history going back 1,700 years, and that it was never vandalized. I don't know how it made it past the Red Guards shouting slogans about the four olds, this place being so old and all, but it's still here. I'm told the architectural style is of northern China, but I'm afraid to Western eyes it's all different, amazing, and undiscernible as being from another region. I guess if you want to sound smart, you can throw that into a conversation at some point. It's beautiful anyway, and there's a lot going on ritual-wise. I'm not a Buddhist, so I don't know exactly how it works, but I hope some of the prayers are going out for world peace. The temple came about during the Three Kingdoms period in Chinese history, when this was part of the Shu Kingdom. It's also the mausoleum of Liu Bei, an emperor of those not forgotten times. Not a bad headstone, I must say. Back on the street, there's a lot going on. Everywhere you look, there's another shop or tea house, and someone calling out for your attention to be on their high-quality wares. This city is famous for its tea houses and gardens. Later on, we'll make a proper visit to a tea garden. But for now, let's have a look in a tea house here in old Chengdu. It's a beautiful setting to sit and enjoy a nice conversation over a drink of some kind. I'm not sure I would opt for something piping hot, considering the weather, but I guess that's the way they do things here. Outside of tea, there are also plenty of incredibly spicy snacks to choose from. Again, I halfway wonder if the spicy food is an attempt at masking the weather. If your mouth is on fire, you won't be focused on the rest of your body melting from the heat and humidity. It's crowded here, that's for sure, and not just because this is a mega city. Chengdu is a popular tourist destination for people across China. Many of the people walking around today are tourists like us. Tourists get a bad name, but the crowd really gives this place a nice energy. If you have this many people out enjoying themselves, it sort of spreads, and you can't help but enjoy yourself too. I mentioned that we would be making a proper visit to a tea garden. For that, we've come to the People's Park. That's what it's called. There are a lot of things that belong to the people here in China. I'm glad they're so welcoming to people like myself who hail from outside of the Middle Kingdom. Either way, they have a very lovely tea garden. It's also a very popular tea garden, hence the multitude of people all crowding in for a snack and some tea. For some reason, I associate drinking tea in gardens with quiet relaxation. I suppose I could have misunderstood the sign at the entrance. This is called the People's Tea Garden because all the people are here. The crowd doesn't matter so much. It's still a great atmosphere to enjoy with family and friends. A snack is great for holding one over between meals, but that's about it. We're hopping on a modern-day rickshaw to another part of town for some popular Sichuan food. Sitting here, I'm suddenly reminded of an old Chinese movie I once saw. It's a bit different from the Chinese takeout place back home, despite the fact that their sign says authentic Sichuan food. This real stuff is spicy enough to strip paint off the walls. We're eating something called huoguo or hot pot. It's a pretty good description. At the center of the table is a boiling pot of spicy stuff. Into the hot pot, you place a variety of uncooked vegetables and meats, chosen from the menu. Once they've stewed a bit, you eat them.
This is so spicy.
Alley goes by another name, Wide and Narrow Alley. I guess that's because despite its being quite wide for an alley, you wouldn't know it once you passed into the crowd. It dates back to the Qing dynasty, which happens to be the last dynasty. The buildings are in the ancient style, and I'm sure it was just as lively back in the day. The air is thick with the smell of spicy snacks and the sound of shop owners competing for tourist money. The alley at night is a feast for the eyes. The spirits of the ancient shop owners seem to inhabit many structures, continuing their calls for your business in the form of the beautiful architecture. Is getting old, and it's time to catch a cab back to the room. Tomorrow's the last day in Chengdu. It's the morning of the last day, and we're going to see some pandas. Pandas are a popular symbol here in China, and Chengdu is sort of the epicenter of all things panda. With that in mind, I guess we couldn't leave the city without checking out the giant panda research center. Did I mention how popular pandas are in China? There are supposedly some star pandas here that will respond to their name, but the line was just impossible. It's just as well. The star of the place decided it was too hot and went into the air conditioning. It seems the pandas have more sense than all of us humans out here boiling away. Though we did manage to catch a few outside snacking. All the rest took to the AC, so the crowd followed and we followed them. You know there's a panda when the phones come out. It's a signal to get your camera ready, but you're going to have to fight for a spot. Well, we'd love to stick around and see a few more panda friends, but we've got a flight to catch. It's time to make our way back down and hop in a cab. So that's Chengdu, at least as much of it as we could fit in this video. See you in the next one.